Yeah, it's spicy digital, baby. Digital deceiver shadows live in the mix. White socks. We don't chase clout, we chase truth. Now let's go. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I know I done already screwed up the calendar for the month. But I was supposed to go live on Monday, and I didn't. And so I needed to go live today for several reasons. One being that there were some things I wanted to cover on Monday that after today is pointless. So I needed to do that. But I wanted to really make up Monday for you. I apologize that I'm late. I was up pretty late last night. And even after, here's your co-host. Good morning, White Sox. How are you? Are you going to find a place to go? So, yeah. And I didn't go live on Monday because this last week has been a lot, to say the least. It's been a lot. Good morning, good morning. Everybody do me a favor and like the live until you feel the heart's tail and take a break for right now. I know I usually ask that, but my schedule shows that I'm off today. I never got the opportunity to update my calendar, so a lot of people aren't going to realize we're here, which is okay. It's fine. A smaller group is just as fine. As I always say, please, if you're a member of the team, hit the daily heart me. If not, stick around. If you like what you hear, join the team. If not, that's okay. Gifts are appreciated, not expected. I'm going to do this regardless. The tapping of the screen, especially with this new AI model that TikTok USA is using, is very quick to find violations, get you off of the For You feed for 10 minutes. We don't want that. We want as many people as possible to hear what it is we have to say. I'm going to add a little bit to the front of this disclaimer by saying that my goal isn't to harm, hurt, scare, put in fear, suggest that anybody's mental health isn't a top priority. My goal is threefold. First, it is to prevent people from being taken advantage of. What does that mean? If you know the person from TikTok, I'm not even talking about personally, and you decide after knowing everything there is to know that you want to give them your money, I'm not talking to you. You've already had the opportunity to know the truth and have decided to go in that direction. Please continue to do so. In fact, open your entire wallet. I'm looking for people who are new, who may be alone, who may need the friendships that come with social media, and then they feel obligated to maintain that friendship by sending their money, especially when it's an older person and younger people are taking advantage. Second is to help these people get on the right path. Because one of the things we know is that as long as they're being enabled, they're not going to stop. Even if they don't need it, they're going to ask for it. Even when they are past the point where, like, somebody has a job, but they're still begging for money past the paycheck, or 2 or 3 in the case I'm thinking of, get on the right path and do the right thing. What was third? Third was to create a community of people who stand together against something that is insidious, something that has hurt many people, that has addressed or that has sacrificed the mental health of so many people on this app by being taken advantage of. So those are my goals. Good morning. Good morning. And if people don't appreciate it, they don't like it, that's okay too. You don't have to like it. I don't like everything I see on TikTok. It's okay. All right. Let's get to the grid. Today's grid is Kristina Test. More because I'm worried about somebody and less about her. Tim and Angela, because weeks in we have a problem. Um, Somebody I'm referring to as the Ardos, also known as Black Mamba. The self-proclaimed racist. I don't even need to say her name anymore. The self-proclaimed racist, Gerald, or Jerry as he is known on TikTok. And again, less about him and more about the women that I'm concerned about. I was summoned by two people as if that would ever work. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Jordan. And I have questions. And then Zim. I also intend to discuss the Maggie Mod situation because they want to say that we're being harmful. Well, when you hear their stories, that's harmful. Now, one reminder, hopefully I have it handy. Where is it? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, I am so sorry. Okay, first things first. This Saturday at 8 p.m., we are going to do a digital app. Wrong one. Oh my goodness, this is getting on my nerves. Now, let's see if I can find it. I almost ended the live. Goodness gracious, I'm not usually like this. You might have to clear the messages out. I mean, the chat out. It's posted on my page this Saturday night. It's going to be about the messages we've sent, the lives we've held that have helped individuals. If you send messages and have had success, please come and tell your story, even if you can't stay the entire time. If a live or a message has saved you, please come in and tell your story. I know a lot of people are shy and they don't like to get in the box. I promise once you do it once, it becomes easier after that. But I think people feel like the only thing we've accomplished is nothing or it's been negative. And some of the accusations flying are insane. And so this is meant to be an encouragement to keep going. Because we have been successful. How many times have we had somebody say thank you? Now, don't get me wrong, we've been cursed out just as much or blocked and talked about. That doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why. Some of the very people who have gone off on me have had to come back later and say, you were right. And it's not about me being right or wrong. I'm hoping they woke up in time so that they didn't empty more of their bank account. I don't know what it is about TikTok in particular. Facebook is picking up, and so is Instagram, that people see a face, they see a sad face, they see tears, and they automatically think, I need to help this person. I don't understand. So that's that. Now, back to the grid. Oh, and we're going to have a conversation about the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because I've been watching that lately. And historically speaking, and I mean on a world stage, that hasn't worked. And I don't think it's going to work now. But we'll talk about it. Who do I want here? Let's see. So, yesterday, Black Mamba was live. Good morning and welcome into everybody who's come in since. Black Mamba has come live yesterday. And of course, there was a guilt trip involved that he had a job, the opportunity to get a job, and that all he needed was black pants and a black belt. He says that he thought all he needed was a black belt. But most companies now like some sort of consistency. So they'll say khaki pants, tan pants, but most want black pants. And sometimes they'll supply you with the shirt you need. And so it provides a level of uniformity without having a uniform. And he also wanted the money for his room. And of course, for some reason, they've got it in their head that TikTok is a place to just get money. Now, I'll agree that social media has turned into a place for people to make money. Absolutely. Social media has changed people's lives, but it's making money. You sitting there begging isn't making money. That's something different. That's begging. Now, am I happy that he's trying to get a job? 110%. Because I feel like for about a month and a half or so, he was drowning in his sorrow that he lost his two jobs. Anyway, of course he has had black pants in the past. But his excuse for why he couldn't use those black pants is because they had pink dye on them. And it pissed me off. And I was like, what kind of an analogy could I give? So this is the one I came up with. Let's say I go to church once a month. And going to church once a month feeds me for the entire month. But I put my Sunday best on and I don't get along with somebody. So I leave church early that day. And I come home with my Sunday best on and decide I'm going to repaint my house in the dress. And now it's almost next Sunday, the next Sunday, and I come to TikTok and say, I painted in my only Sunday best dress, so you guys got to give me money for another one. And I can't believe you're going to stand here and watch me instead of sending me the $9 from the thrift store so I can buy another dress. Why in God's green earth would you think it was a good idea to either bleach and then dye or just dye your hair in black pants? And then get mad at people for not giving you money for more. Because then they try to throw it, or he tried to throw it back in our faces that we say we want him to get a job, but we're not going to give him the money to get the job. Do you hear what that sounds crazy? It is nobody else's responsibility. And when he is being clear minded, he'll say that. It's nobody else's responsibility. But people have been paying, I have been watching Black Mamba for over a year. And I remember distinctly because one of my first interactions with him was when he was like, it's the anniversary of his mother's untimely passing, and he gets my condolences for that. And I was thinking it was a year ago. And I'm like, we are still wild, like a year ago? And then it turned out that it was only 30 days. And I was like, oh, I hear like the anniversary and I think a year or more. I don't think 30 days. And you are literally in the exact same spot. Now, did he get a job and then two? Cool. I am happy for you. But you lost both of them because of attendance issues and being timely. That's nobody else's fault but your own. So again, you make decisions that hurt you or help you. And then you feel like I get to make decisions because I'm a grown man. I can do what I want. I can show up late. I can call in sick. I can do this. I can do that. And then you become the responsibility of people on TikTok. No, sir. Now, of course, the kind heart part in me hopes he got it and hope he's able to start working so that he can stop begging people for money. But we'll wait and see. And if he's successful, he'll get all the praise in the world from me. Unfortunately, the pattern for so many is that they end up back here looking at TikTok to be an ATM for something else. It'll be, well, now I work, but now I need money for a car. And then it'll be, I need money for a down payment for my apartment. Like, it'll always be something. And so that they never actually let go of the bag. I don't know if you noticed. Really, Scam? You you've been getting what have you been wearing to training then? And how have you been in all this training and been on live? Like, again, that's the other thing. They literally do and say things that don't make sense and then say to us, I don't understand why you don't understand. What you're saying doesn't even make sense. But we're going to go through a few of those. Thank you, Lizzie. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. I'm sorry my calendar's already screwed up, but it should be good going forward. Okay, let's move on because we all know Jordan's coming live soon anyway. As we know, I always have questions. And my major question here is this: why isn't a single one of her actual supporters that she trusts asking her any questions that explain her circumstances? Because obviously the biggest question of them all is, where is the paycheck? And what did you do with it? You don't have a car payment. You don't have insurance payments. You haven't begged for food in I don't know how long. You haven't begged for dog food in I don't know how long. The people sending her money, you aren't wondering where her paycheck is? And what's also crazy is that if a couple of them came out and saw Penny Fairy's bingo card a few days in a row, how do they not hear the repetitiveness? And see, part of what gets me when she's like, go back to your leader and all of that, anybody with any common sense that watches her longer than 15, 20 minutes is going to have questions. They don't have to come from any leader. Because the stories you tell over and over and over again don't make sense. And I gotta just get this off my chest. I do not believe that it is costing her $50 to get a new pair of contacts to walk out with. My insurance company pays for me to either get a fitting for contacts or a fitting or glasses. If I want both, which I usually do the glasses through insurance, I have to pay for a fitting. It's $100. And as a part of that fitting, I get to walk out with the contacts that he used to fit them to my eyes. The contacts aren't $50. It's the fitting, or in my case, $100. It's the fitting. Exactly. You can get a whole box, like she said, for $50 or less from 1-800 contacts. It's not the contacts, it's the fitting the doctor is charging you for. And I don't understand why the people who co-sign every single lie she tells, who say she's shown proof and they know good and well she hasn't. They know good and well she's asking for money on the back end. Like yesterday when she said she wasn't live for 3 weeks. When? 3 years ago? What, she took Sunday off? And that equates to 3 weeks? And see, this is part of my problem. You can be mad at what I do, but if we're going to call a spade, why is it okay for someone to lie and manipulate to get money out of people? Why is that okay? If you're going to brush me with a brush of morality, where is the morality that says that this is unacceptable in our society? And the people co-signing are some of the people sending her the money on the back end. You are asking for receipts? And she always has a story because we've seen those text messages. There's always a story. You know what? I forgot to put somebody on the list. I might have to switch somebody. Okay. Rachel, as in Raquel? Be for real. I've seen her live and she's like trying to protect herself in her location, except you're standing in the train station with a particular ceiling. Do you know how easy that is to find? Like, be for real. Good morning. Thank you, Sandy. Good morning. Okay. I want to get a couple things out. Kristina seems to have found someone who also seems to have children in her home that she's going to be able to go and stay with. Ma'am, I'll see you in about 3 months. I'll give it 3 months. And the reason why I'm giving it 3 months is because Christina's going to behave for a second. And I do mean a second. But she's going to behave for a second. And the woman letting her come stay is going to want to save face for as long as possible. Because I know for a fact she has been warned. I don't know who she is and where she came from, and it doesn't even matter. They backed out? Oh, does anybody know why? Please, somebody come up here and tell me the details, because the last time I watched, that's what I saw. Does anybody know? And can anybody tell me? Ooh, I know. I was worried about that person. Good morning, Pixie Power.
Good morning, D.A.D.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I'm all ears.
So, from what we know, the husband was in Carrie's live yesterday, and he did his research on Kristina and found out the truth about her. So, they backed out.
Wow. I wonder if the wife was upset.
No, because she did her research too.
So, what I'm glad because I believe that they had. Did they have autistic children in the home?
Yeah, she has an autistic son.
Yes, and I was concerned about that. I was very concerned about that because Kristina would have been another child in that household. And I remember Kristina bragging about the fact that the landlord was letting her stay until this week. And she was like, but I'm going to be gone before then. So now what's the plan? Good. Oh, does anybody actually said what the plan is?
We don't know what the plan is. She hasn't said anything.
Wait, the live is frozen?
It's not frozen for me.
I know that's weird. You and I can talk, but they're all saying that it's frozen. Guys, go out and come back in. Can you still hear me, Pixie Pie? It's looping. It's
Yeah, I
looping
can hear
because
you.
it's. Hold on. Let me see if I can post this. All right, they're telling me to restart. I'm going to restart and come back.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back. I was thinking it could also be because my phone is getting hot. Like, I'm really starting to think that Apple is literally putting that together to make sure that you have to get a new phone every few years. I really do. Oh, thank you, Charlene. Thank you so much. Everybody, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hey, Cat Daddy. Hey. Yeah, I have an an iPhone 15 as well. I'm looking at the 17, but everything that I'm reading saying it says that it still gets hot. So it's like I wish I had stayed with the 12. To be completely honest, it might be one of those days. You have the 12 disturbed one, stick with it as long as you possibly can. Yeah, I also heard the 17 was worse because it was supposed to be unbreakable, but apparently the body is breakable. D.A.D. share Carrie's post to you. Okay, thank you. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad. I'm gonna be honest. Now, while we're on the subject of worrying about people, this is somebody new to me, but I'm not new to him, which baffles the crap out of me. But Ahmad said something, I had gotten other messages, and I finally went in. And you know me, I'm a question asker. And so my question was, why is everybody sending your name to me? He ignored me. And then I asked another question. I can't even remember what it was because it was uneventful. He again ignored me. But I knew that when Walker had been in his box begging, and Lori Jones was in his comments. I don't know what she was doing, but she was there. And I was like, sir, do you know who you're dealing with? But more importantly, he had an entire panel of women. Now, I think maybe there might have been 7. And I think maybe 1 or 2 may have understood TikTok and how it worked, but the rest clearly didn't. And I'm thinking to myself, it's your first time in a box. It's your first time talking in a live. You don't know how to mute. You don't know how to drop. You don't know. And I'm like, and y'all are on the deep end of this side of TikTok? And so I said, you guys have jumped into the deep end and don't even know it. And he said, of course, now he's paying attention. He says, oh, that I'm taking that as a direct threat. And he took a photo of it and acted like he was saving it to a file. And he was like, and you're in here on your real name. And so, of course, I got blocked. So then I went back in. And I was like, I was talking about the ladies, the chat, like a threat. He was like, well, that's even worse. So when you block me that rapidly for what feels like no reason at all, and you clearly know who I am in advance of me, and that was the thing I said. This is my first time here. I've never seen you before. Like, I don't know you from Adam. But very quickly, I have figured out that I have questions because some of what you do is shady to me. That's my opinion as a woman. So, on the Black Talk side of things, there's a guy named Telvin. And Telvin is conventionally good looking. He is very slick with the tongue. He has a cute Louisiana accent. And he runs around the app getting women to think that he's interested in them. They battle, they make money, and then he goes off and does what he wants to do, breaks hearts, comes back, you name it. And because he's conventionally a cute guy, there are women all over the country willing to send him money just for the opportunity of him saying their name or engaging with them in any way. And I feel like that's Jerry. Who's Michael Granny Annie? Oh, in the chat? I haven't even noticed. Good morning, all for one. I haven't even noticed. That's hilarious. Wait, what did he say? Y'all need to leave people alone. Okay, Michael. Anything else? Oh, TikTok is telling me to give you guys a shout out. Shout out to everybody. Michael, is there anything else you'd like to say? I mean, he has the right to say it. It doesn't mean that. Michael, what I already know is sketchy. What I already know is sketchy. And you know what's crazy about that, Michael? He knows Let me show you why I'm worried. Let me be specific. First of all, I'm worried about these two young ladies. So, the top one, her name is Nicole. And Nicole truly believes that they are in a relationship. And I've seen him say yes, and I've also seen him say no. So I'm not sure which one it is. But what disturbs me is when I watch what the women in the chat do and say about Nicole. When Nicole is upset or they think Jerry is upset with her, they'll come in and be like, "Good morning, Nicole. How are you? What did you eat today? Blah, 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 blah." And then 2 minutes later, they're like, "Jerry, you could do better than her." And I was upset. Okay, Michael, you reported me. And what? And so that's part of what disturbs me. The other part of what disturbs me is that you keep requesting money to go to New York to be with her, and yet you're not going. So, which one is it? Like, are you going or not? Because how many times are you going to get money for the same thing? Michael, do you think that it's okay that people send him money over and over and over again for the same thing and then he doesn't go? Isn't that lying? Isn't that being manipulative? Isn't him allowing her to believe that they're in a relationship if they aren't manipulative? Especially when you know she has a hard time processing information. And so after a while of these women dog walking Nicole, he cuts the comments off and he's like, "You're not going to talk to her like that. The God told me what to do." And this, and I, for a second, I was like, okay, he does stand up for her. All right, that's what a man should do when he's in a relationship. And I was going to be like, okay, maybe it is better than I think. And then, come later in the day, he's dropping her, blocking her, telling her to never call him again. And she, according to him, is telling him she's going to unalive him. She's going to call the cops on him. My question is this: why is this all playing out on TikTok? Why is all of this taking place on TikTok? Okay. Either way, and Super, thank you for clarifying. It is Darlene. You know that this woman is attached to you. You know that you pausing will make her crash out. She literally did a video that was like, all these women that are coming out, Jerry is mine and blah, blah, blah. Not according to Jerry. And then it's, I need the bus ticket, but I need, I can't leave the dog, and the dog is big, and so I need something more for the dog. And then they give him the money to be able to move the dog, but then he can't do it. And then I assumed incorrectly that he was living with his grandmother. And that's the only reason why she was putting up with his nonsense. Because where is your job, Jerry? And then I find out she's just some woman he met. How did you meet her and end up in her home with your dog? And see, he thinks it's cute, and this is what pisses me off about the women in his chat. Because we all know that if that was their mother or grandmother, they would be telling the grandmother to kick him out. Like, let's be for real. They would be like, why you have this young man and his big dog in your house? You don't need that headache. But because they're all sitting on TikTok and they're engaging with him, and they're nice to the older woman, don't get me wrong, but she has asked him repeatedly to keep the dog off the couch. Does Jerry care? No, because it's not his. And to me, looking in the camera and laughing at her and like showing her cursing him out, for me, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful for me. And no sooner does that happen, there's some pick me in the comments. How about we buy you a dog bed? Well, why are you buying him a dog bag big enough for the dog wherever they are living when he's supposed to be going to New York with Nicole? And this, what's so crazy is that I've been able to gather this with a cursory look. I haven't even dug deep. And he got pulled over by the cops and was literally like, if the cops say TikTok, I'm gonna get y'all. How? How are you gonna figure out who actually called the police and what they said? And how are you gonna do anything about it? I know if that was my grandmother, you wouldn't be there. Plastering her all over TikTok. Now, don't get me wrong, Grandma is feisty, boy. Grandma is feisty, but she's also feeble. I'm sure he did. So my concern isn't him, because let me just tell you something. With the amount of time he spent locked up, he's gonna be okay. There's always going to be a pick me prepared to let him come in, move in, and then she's going to be live in 7 years with 3 kids talking about what a horrible person he is. He will survive unscathed. My concern is the older woman. What is her name? Is it Joyce? Lori? I can't remember. And I'm concerned about Nicole's mental health. Linda, there you go. I'm concerned about Nicole's mental health. See, I find it interesting that everybody wants to be concerned with the mental health of the person being featured, but not the mental health of the people around them that are being affected by their decisions. The last thing that I see him do that makes me feel, it gives me the ick, is that when he has a bunch of women in his boxes and they're talking about him going to New York and Linda comes out, he wants them to be quiet. Why? You're not going to tell Linda you're leaving? She's just going to wake up one morning and you're gone? Or you have absolutely no plans to leave and you don't want Linda to hear about it because you don't want her to blow your spot up. Like, I don't understand what it is. Sorry. Oh, really, BB Ball Mom? I'm trying to let Rochester up, but it's giving a hard time. Oh, there we go. Good
Hello,
morning,
D.D.
Rochester. Good morning.
Good morning. By the way, thank you for coming in the other night. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, how's your mom?
Oh, she's doing wonderful. She's being her ornery Italian self, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Awesome. Exactly. You have the
Um,
floor, sir.
I hug my mother as tight as I can, as many times as I can.
Good.
A lot of what's being said in the chat about Nicole and the pizza incident. I don't know if you heard about that, but
I
I was
didn't.
I was watching the other day, and he promised her DoorDash. He was going to DoorDash her a pizza. So he had her thinking that a pizza was coming. Well, when he told her that it was there, now if I'm mistaken in saying anything, please chat correct me. He had her go outside. The pizza wasn't on the front porch, so he had her walk all the way back around to the back side of the house. Guess what? No pizza. So she goes back inside, and she has to eat one of those frozen chicken parm meals you just toss in the microwave, acting like everything's fine. Oh, I'm going to call the restaurant, see what happened. Or they screwed the order up. And then I don't know if she got off or he dropped her or whatnot, but he pauses to order himself DoorDash and get food. So he had this girl thinking that he was DoorDashing her some food and not eat nothing. Absolutely nothing came. It was all a ploy for money that was supposed to go to her, but he ordered it for himself. All played out on live.
How do people find that funny? It's not, it wouldn't be funny for anybody but Nicole in her medical condition, and y'all find that funny because it's Jerry?
Exactly. And I think it was the same live too, where Linda, the other woman in the picture here, but I think she has stage 4 cancer or something like that. And she's telling him, get out of the house, get out, I want you out. And he's screaming right back at her like she's a dog on the street or something. He dog walks her through the mud as many times as he can.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
and I wanted to share that about the pizza incident because, like a lot of comments I seen in your chat, that pissed me off. Excuse me for saying that.
oh no, you are absolutely within your rights to be pissed off because he pisses me off too. And
Just
he should be pissing off more people. I don't understand the pick me culture that it's like Alexander having all those women. Why do you think a man that has spent that much time locked up and he comes out, he hasn't made anything of himself other than living with this old lady and
right.
planning on going to New York, that he's going to enter your life and somehow straighten up and you're going to have a beautiful life together? Can somebody explain to me? Because it happens, but it's one in a million.
Another thing that he did too, I saw Cindy had commented just a minute ago. He had her walking up and down the street saying, if you see a pizza on the porch, that's yours, just take it. So he had her doing that too.
Oh my God.
And she went and did it. And I've seen Nicole before. She's not new to TikTok. You can tell that she has some mental difficulties. And this is, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering because it's disgusting and it's pissing me off.
Mm-hmm. Granny, right before you go, this was the other thing he did that I thought was manipulative. He claims that she doesn't know how to get her gift. off of TikTok, nor does she know how to exchange them. So he was like, "You're wasting your money sending her gifts. Send them to me." I was like, she has a daughter. Her daughter can't help her figure it out. You're her man. Help her figure it out. Go one step by one step by one step. But no, you don't want to actually do that. You want to keep her in the dark so that people send it to you thinking that you're going to take care of her. I find it disgusting. Go ahead, Granny Annie.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, I
Mhm.
took a dive down this rabbit hole, and I was actually in his live under a backup. Um, he has been in and out of jail and prison since he was 9 years old.
Wow.
And what he does is he met Nicole on Bigo, and then or Bigo, however they say it, and then they came over here, but he will create new accounts and then he'll say, I got to restart. I got to restart. Follow me, follow me. And that's how he gets his followers up so
Yep.
fast.
Yep.
The bus ticket that he got was paid for by another lady. And because she did not get insurance on it, she did not get her money back for the bus ticket. And that day, as I understand it, the day the bus ticket was purchased, he got like $700, and he's getting this within a matter of minutes. He's getting money.
Uh-huh.
And he had, like I said, of all people, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. He had Windwalker in his top box, and she was asking for $50 for a hotel room to keep the hotel room for her and her pregnant daughter.
Uh-huh.
And when he told her to go up to the desk, and he wanted to hear them say whether they would take payment over the phone or not. And so she goes up there and tells him they have to email him a link to pay it online. And he gave her his email address, and then she all of a sudden dropped out of the box, and people were telling him that she had done, I guess, posted a video about him that was not real good.
Uh-huh.
And so then he said he was going to pay for 2 nights in the hotel. He said, I've blocked her and I'm not paying for anything at all.
And never intended to.
No, he would have never, he was going to have all the people giving him money were the ones that were going to pay for it if he even did that. And I
Right.
don't think he would, but he's a vile man. I mean, he's very, very, I think he's dangerous, honestly.
You're
And,
absolutely right. He is.
yeah, Linda does have cancer. As I was told, it is terminal. And she's fighting a tough enough battle. She used to be a corrections officer, from what I was told. So it wasn't, as far as I know, it wasn't in the same facilities where he's been, but she felt bad for him and took him in. And I saw a video where he had done something. He had cigarette burns on, I don't know if it was on carpet or somewhere, that she said she's going to have to pay for those damages. So, if you go into his live, don't fall for it when he says he's going to restart and follow him.
Okay.
Just go, I would say report, and be prepared for a very vile man.
Correct. Good morning, Suba.
Good morning, Digital. Thank you for having me up. Real quick, I just wanted to say first, Linda was never a corrections officer.
Okay.
Um, she said the other day that they met because her church has a halfway house. He was in the halfway house and he got kicked out. So she took him in. He was only supposed to be there a week. He's been there a year and a half.
Wow.
Um, the other night I was watching, and what upsets me the most is how he makes Nicole think that he never has like a strict boundary. He said, you know what I mean? He just blurs the line. He says, I never asked you to be my girlfriend, right? And she's like, well, I don't know. But he allows her to say, I love you. He allows her to say, I want to marry you. The other day he said, that she's just like a daughter to him. But then later on in the day, he's like saying sexual things to her. He says, "Are you flicking that bean under your blanket?" Like being sexual towards her, talking about her private area and things like that. That right there is what makes her not understand, what's going on, what's happening. And the other night she was in his box and his mods were up there and they're all talking about her while she's right there. Like she can hear them talking about her and everything. And they're just like talking about her like she's not there. She literally hid her face and she looked so upset. And those women antagonize her and get her to that point. And that is just, in my mind, just messed up. Her family is aware of some things. I don't think they understand the gravity of things. But I do know that the crisis unit was at her house. That's the other thing. The other day, he said he called the cops, right? He didn't come on the live and say, "Nicole, I called the cops because I want them to come and make sure you're okay," or anything like that. He came back on the live and waited until there was a knock at the door. And he's like, "Is that the cops?" And he like got upset. He's like, "I'm getting tired of them calling the cops on you." And then he went, "Oh, I forgot. I called them." What? Like you called him, but you didn't say, "Hey, Nicole, the cops are coming." You didn't get her prepared for a knock on the door. This woman was crying, saying, "I don't want them to take me. I don't want them to take me." That is abuse. I'm trying to remember everything I wanted to say when I come up here.
Because there's so much.
Yeah, there's so much. And the thing with her account, her main account had what he said. There's a video on my page. He said there was $2,000 on her account, but she lost it. Apparently, he doesn't know that she logged back in it and reactivated it because it was up 2 days ago. She made a video on it and everything. So if the money was on there, it wouldn't have disappeared. It would still be on there. So and he also has all the passwords to her accounts. He admitted that. So that just tells you right there, if anyone's trying to follow her or talk to her or anything like that, you know what I mean? He's the one blocking you, because I was blocked on several of her accounts and I never even followed her, spoke to her or anything. He doesn't want her to see any of the truth or any videos or anything like that. And then there was a 19-year-old girl that he was planning to go to South Carolina to see on this trip to New York so he could take her virginity. Well, someone reached out to her parents. They had been, made aware. And one more thing, he told her the other day, and he said it to her several times. He says, "These people want you to unalive yourself. These people, yes, these people want to take you and put you in a mental institution." That is fucking abuse. No one wants her to unalive herself. None of us want to pick on her. None of that. We want her to be safe, and that's why we're so invested in this whole situation. We could give a shit less about him at this point. It's her and her mental health that people are worried about. We're not there to see Jerry opening up his mouth and smiling. That's not why we're there. It's for Nicole.
And this is what's crazy.
100%.
For you guys listening, when she told the story, she was talking about a woman taking her man and how she hit her, and he was like, "Yeah, right." And then he tried to like make a little funny move, like she doesn't know how to hit. And then she was like, "I was in the mental institution for 2 years because of that."
Oh, wow. No, I didn't hear that.
Yes, I heard that.
I'm sorry. Good morning, Disturbed One. Correct, Awful One.
Good morning. Suba kind of touched about the 19-year-old, but he also has an ex-girlfriend. She's an A-leaguer, and he battled her. I mean, they were going back and forth the other day, and yeah, she's on TikTok. Cause I mean, she's a pretty girl, but yeah. So when I get that name, I got it saved in my phone. I'll bring it to you. But she's an A-leaguer. He was battling her. She was beating him real good. She goes, "Oh, look," she was giving a say so because, "Whoa, look, you got 300 people, but why ain't they throwing for you? Why ain't they throwing for you?" But yeah, and yesterday about bed bugs. Did you see the one about bed bugs?
Yes, that's the other. Yeah, that's one other thing I wanted to say too. Yep.
Go on, Suba. You got it. You can take it.
Well, he was, because she's itches a lot, and it could be her skin, it could be dry skin, but he's always telling her, stop scratching yourself down there, stop itching yourself. And he was telling her, well, you must have bed bugs, and he's trying to get an exterminator, etc., etc. And it's just like he's making all of these like moves. You know, let's get an exterminator. That's
There's no
not your
proof.
house. That's
Right,
like,
there's no proof. Where's the
yeah,
proof?
there's no
Right.
proof of it, and he's trying to get her to go to the hospital and stuff. And I have been talking to someone that says that that's her cousin, which I have not been able to get confirmed yet. But they did say that the aunt knew about, like, thinking that she had bed bugs, and they had already gotten an exterminator to come there. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's just like he's making her do all these things, and he's sitting there with 400 supposed people. I think that he's buying views myself, and so does AI, because I put like his account through AI, and it said that it, you know, like it looks for certain markers to say if the account's using bots or not, and it says that he is. So those 400 views, they're probably all just bots in there. He's buying them to make himself look like he's getting popular and more famous when
Right.
he's in reality not.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, she did show a can of bed bug
Yeah,
spray.
it was a big old. It was a big old bottle, like industrial, like industrial, like a 2-gallon.
Oh,
He's never going to do anything. He does all of that talking for two reasons: to
right.
make her think he's gonna do something, and then for any pick me girl that's desperate enough to have him, it makes him seem like he's a man that's gonna come in and step up and take over. He's only gonna do to you what he's doing to this older woman: sit on your couch on live on TikTok, doing things to make you jealous so that you become so insecure you latch on even harder. I've lived enough
Exactly.
life to know that that's who he is.
Yep, you're
It was
exactly right.
Good morning. Hold on. I'm masking. Good morning.
Thank you for letting me up. I just wanted to come in real quick and just say that I think that the state needs to get involved in her guardianship. Her mother is supposedly her guardian, but her mother is clearly a rug addict. There's a video going around about her mom coming over, and her mom couldn't even talk because she was so messed up. And it's sad all around. Like I don't know where anyone is taking care of her.
Well, I just wanted to also say that I have a friend that lives in Schenectady, and she used to be part of the crisis, mobile crisis unit that actually went to Nicole's the other day, and her best friend still runs it. And they do want to get her help, but she's refusing any help. And that also came from her cousin too, that she was refusing help from anyone because they, you know, she's an adult. And so maybe and yeah, adult protective services has also been there. So there are people in her community that are involved already. So if she says, I don't want help from them, they can't force her to get it unless she does something, you know what I mean, to try to hurt herself or something like that, maybe. Maybe she understands more than what we know. And the day that her mom came over, just from that visit of her being there, I cannot 100% say that she's a rug addict. She's an older woman. She could be on medication that makes her speak that way. Jerry's put that narrative out there that she's a rug addict, but there's no proof of it. And just by him saying, well, she only gives her $20 a month and all of this, we don't know that for sure. She's paying her bills, and $941 of, you know, Social Security really doesn't go that far if you're paying bills and buying different things like that. But I just hate for us to say, oh, she's a rug addict and she's not doing anything when she, you know, if Nicole's not letting anyone help her, then we have no control over it, and neither does she.
Hold on one
Yeah.
question. Steph, are you asking for the box? Because you're going to be the last person. And then I got to move on. But I just want to know.
all right. I'm gonna drop D.A.D.
Okay.
Thank
All
you for
right.
letting me
Yeah,
up.
thank you for letting me
You
up.
guys, no. You guys don't have to go yet. I just wanted to say Steph would be the
Okay.
last
All
person.
right. Oh yeah,
Um,
Steph has been watching them.
Yeah,
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 she
good
was.
morning,
I'm going.
ladies.
I think I can walk away and you guys can keep talking, but keep going.
I just wanted to add last night because I also stream him to get awareness out there on this situation. I don't know if a lot of people are watching last night, but when the whole bug bed situation came up again and they were talking about it, he actually said on live he was going to get one of his pick-me's to have Nicole take her shirt off so they could look at her back.
Wow.
Oh
Oh
my
my
Oh
Oh
God.
wow.
my
God.
god.
Yeah, so I was disgusted when I heard that because now he's gonna have her take clothes off for people to look at her body.
That was
Right.
the other thing too, Steph, is that he was going to have someone that lives near her go to her house to help her get her email straight or her TikTok account straight or something like that. He said that in his live yesterday too.
Yes,
So
yep,
let's send strangers over there that you don't know or that could, who knows, you know?
It would astonishes me. All those people that were in his box yesterday are, oh Jerry, we love you. You know, it's like they're pygmies. You know,
Right.
oh, and these people they were talking about the streamers. Oh, they're gonna dox us. Oh, well, they don't know what's coming. What do you mean you don't? We don't know. They don't know what's coming. Ain't
Can
nobody gonna
I
dox you.
can I also say to anyone that's out there trolling him, we do not approve of any of that. Doxing,
Right.
trying to use people's information as a way to terrorize them, none of that. Going real life like that is not okay.
Nope.
Exactly.
absolutely not. And like I said, it's obviously we're all concerned about Nicole, but what's really got me heated last night was the whole I'm gonna have her take her shirt off. Like, so
That's
now we're gonna go to
disgusting.
that extent to have her show her body.
He's a
Yeah, I did not
disgusting
hear
person.
that. That's terrible.
But Michael came in here to say that I'm sketchy. Okay, sir. But are we quiet? And I don't know if Lamar muted them or not, but after everything is said and done, the fact that you can still try to hold your head up and come in here and say that we're sketchy, yeah, he's your hero or your him. Either way, go take that over there because it's never gonna amount to anything over here.
No, Michael
Okay,
Jet.
guys.
He nobody muted him. He left.
Oh,
Right. He
okay.
left.
I have to move on because there's
Okay.
Yeah.
some
All
things that
right.
I know that what's her
Thank you.
name is going to come live soon. Thank you guys for coming
Thank you,
Thank
up.
you
Dee
for
Dee.
my
Thank you,
gigs
Dee
and
Thank you
Dee.
thank you,
guys.
Virginia.
Appreciate
Bye
you.
bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
Appreciate
job.
Bye
you.
Thank
bye.
you, Dee Dee. I'm gonna send you
Okay.
some messages that were sent to me, Dee Dee.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, now, let's see. Wrong place. This is going to be super quick. Um, I was summoned to a live, and I guess it was supposed to happen Monday night, then last night. I'm not going, and I'm going to tell you why. For one, the last time they had a beg before the move, it was for their electricity bill. And it was so bad, they went and stayed at cousins' houses and slept on the couch until they got the nearly $400. And he said, meaning Josh, that he was going to accept people in the box to ask him questions. Well, of course, I tried to take my turn, and he said, after we get the money. Okay, cool. So they got the money. I waited for them to settle in, I think. But either way, Ida was in the box, and I said, can I speak to Josh? And she was like, for what? And I was like, Josh said he and I could have a conversation when you got the money for the electricity bill. She was like, nah. And I'm like, I'm serious. She turns to Josh. Josh doesn't say anything. It's like a ah. And then she comes back and she's like, I would have known if he said it, you're lying, and they blocked me. I have no reason to lie about something like that. None whatsoever. But okay, cool. And then I brought up their April Fool's ask, which the $100,000 might have been the April Fool's part, but I don't think going on vacation was an April Fool's joke. And I'll tell you why. Because after I said something about it, of course, they had to bring me up and I was told about it. So I go to their live. Because if I'm going to talk about you, I'm willing to talk to you. I have no problem with that. Because again, the goal isn't to see you come to any harm whatsoever. None whatsoever. So I go in the box because, of course, they were like, she's not coming in here. Why? I go in the box and I'm trying to have a constructive conversation. But I can't deal with childish behavior. It's the one thing that upsets me the fastest is when I'm trying to have a serious conversation and I'm dealing with somebody who's so unserious. And at one point, as I was leaving, Josh even said to her, like, turn that off. And it was something like people would gift and it would say, shut the fuck up or something like that. I'm never doing that again. Because, for one, they know exactly where I am. If they really wanted to talk to me, if they really have a problem, come in here and let's talk about it. But I've tried to talk to them multiple times, but the 2 times recently, and that's how you're going to act, I'm not doing it. I'm not showing back up. But then you can see how childish they are because they're calling me out. Okay. And I don't talk crap on YouTube. I talk it on TikTok and post it to YouTube. They know this as well. And I don't spread lies. I talk about what I see on TikTok. So they told me to come to the box that night, but then they didn't hold the live. I wasn't on TikTok that night at that time anyway. I was living my life, but they never even held one. You say I took it too far, but then when I showed up before this, you didn't even have the fortitude, the maturity to have the conversation because you get off on little laughs because somebody sent a gift that said, shut the fuck up. Why would I stay? And then you say, if I'm not a coward, how am I the coward? I've gotten in your chat multiple times, real account, and requested the box. So how am I a coward? The only reason why they are so hell-bent on knowing what I look like is so that they could find something about me to shame me for. Oh, look at her eyes. Look at her hair. Look at her skin color. Look at her lips. Look at her nose. That's it. And then what does she do right after that in her life? Tease me about my lisp. Is that mature? Or were you trying to generate views? Now, people being in their chat saying anything to them about being scammers has nothing to do with me, because when you don't ask, you're not on the grid. You're only here if you're asking for money, or if you do something related to asking for money that is pertinent to the group. So what do? They are like, you keep calling us scammers, we're gonna put up a goal of $100. 5 people give us $20 so we can make them mad. It doesn't make us mad at all. But you, of course, went right back to your true self. There were 9 people in there. It eventually went up to, 49 people? If people want to send you money and gifts, be my guest. But why would you? This is the example. And women, y'all have heard of somebody who's gone through this. A woman is insecure based on her man's patterns. He's not coming home like he used to. He's getting up early. He's wearing cologne. He's just moving. When you try to call him on Friday night, he don't answer until Monday morning. And so you're like, are you cheating? Are you seeing somebody else? Like, what's going on? And then he cheats on you and then gaslights you by saying, well, you kept accusing me of cheating, so I went on ahead and cheated. Who would accept that? Who would accept that as an answer? Nobody. So why do you think that you saying, oh, people are calling us beggars or scammers and blah, 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 so we're going to put up $100? No, that's your true self. You don't say anything about asking for money from the people who enjoy you. If somebody wants to gift you something, I don't care. You want to battle? I don't care. You want to make money on Twitch, YouTube? I don't care. Make the money though. Don't beg for it. And you're doing so well, according to y'all. So go do well. Go be great. You're destined for it, right? Go do it. But summoning me is always going to be a 0 from this point going forward. Oh, we do have to have good self-esteem. Absolutely. So, the artist, also known as I'm going to refer to them going forward, has made some waves within the community. And some people are saying awareness is dead, whatever the case may be. There are so many people highlighting the scammers on this app. We are not a monolith. We are not all a member of some group. Most of us do it individually. Some people do it as a group. But you could take out what you consider to be the top 10, and there will still be hundreds of people doing what we do. So have at it. Do what it is that you do. Do whatever makes you happy. I will say, though, if you're truly in fear for your life, to poke the bear every day tells me something different. That's a facade to elicit distress that isn't actually there. But the thing that got to me the most was people utilizing the proverb that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So let's talk about it for a second. See, that was the proverb. Let's see, because I looked it up. A Sanskrit proverb that predates the Prophet Muhammad by roughly 1,000 years. But it has a dismal history and practice, because the enemy of my enemy has actually proven to have been an enemy at the time or turned into one in the future. See, you may be together now, but that doesn't mean you'll always be together. And just because you align on one thing doesn't mean that you align in all. Just because two people or two groups both dislike the same person or group or situation or have the same problem does not automatically make them trustworthy to each other. And I think it's an important lesson. I talk about it all the time, because when emotions are really high, we get desperate for support. We start looking at anyone who agrees with us. And then we assume that they must be safe because they see it the same way we do about a person, situation, or group. But shared frustration is not the same thing as shared values. Somebody could be against the same thing you are, but still not care anything about you. And I think people are going to find that out the hard way. That this isn't about saving you at all. They don't care about you. They don't respect you, nor do they have your best interest at heart. So we have to be careful, people. Sometimes a person will stand beside you for convenience, not because they're loyal. They'll smile with you in one moment and then stab you in the back the next. And by the time you realize it, it's too late. Don't worry about whether they're against the same person you are. But who are they? What do they stand for? Can they be trusted? Because the enemy of my enemy does not make you my friend. You need to learn how to protect your peace rather than focusing on conflict with somebody and aligning with somebody else to elevate that conflict. You got to be grounded and discerning. And sometimes, even if you're walking in the same direction with somebody initially, you may have to veer off to the left or the right for your own peace of mind. This enemy, hi honey bun, this enemy of my enemy being my friend is faulty logic. And I watch people backpedaling because stuff is going too far and now you don't want no parts of it. Y'all better be careful out here. And I'm going to say this again. I said it last night. if we've learned anything, and I've learned this too, if there is a statement that you do not want the public to ever read, don't write it. Because your friend today won't be your friend tomorrow necessarily. And just because I know something about someone doesn't mean I need to put it out either. Because I promise, if that's your practice, it's going to happen to you too. And you're not going to like it. Don't do anything to anybody you wouldn't want them to do to you. Because it might not be them doing it to you. It might be somebody else. And that somebody else may have all the time in the world, a particular set of skills, and the wherewithal to do so. Be careful in these TikTok streets. I'm telling you. Okay. Let's talk TNA for a second. Now, I know this is a little old, but I said the other day that I felt like a proud mama when I heard that he had a job, he was getting paid weekly. That's great, wonderful, cool. But after being paid for several weeks, and Fallon has a post where he said he got like a card from work. So that way, work just has to put the money on the card. He doesn't have to worry about it going to another bank, going into like a payment app account, nothing. And then several days later saying they didn't give him his check. Now, first point of contention, why would somebody give him the advice to go to the labor board and report it? Are y'all okay? And I'm sorry, but his response was accurate. Why would I go turn them in and then I lose my job and I'm back here begging? Like, y'all just, and when I say y'all, I don't mean y'all. People just say anything that sounds right without even considering the consequences. Oh, wait, hold on, y'all. You know, when Mr. requests, he gets the interruption. Good morning, honey.
Good morning, babe. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, my lord.
So, I'm just calling to let you know that I'll be getting off here in a few. My head is hurting me today, but have a good stream. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, baby. Take something.
I will. Y'all
Okay.
everybody be safe out there. Have a great day.
All right. I love you.
I love you too, boo.
He's so cute. Jennifer, I don't know if you want a box or not. Yes, that's Mr. Digital. So, good morning, TikTok president. He is. He's the sweetest. As much as he makes me work in his streams, listen. I have several problems. One being, you claim you didn't get your check. What went wrong? Now, he claims he didn't know. I don't know how large of a company he works for or how small. Usually, when there's a paycheck error, it is human error that was involved. But when he came back, he didn't ask for a day or two to see what happened. He wanted his entire week's hotels paid by somebody else. The entire week. Now, let me tell you what's faulty about that to me. And I don't know if you picked up on it or not. But I believe in the middle of the week, he asked for a few dollars for food to get him until payday. Correct? Until he got paid. Well, come payday, he went live to say he didn't get his check. So what he wanted you to do was pay the hotel room for a week. How did you eat, sir? No, this was last week. I'm just doing some analysis. How did you eat? Because this new paycheck was supposed to be the first paycheck that was based on your full hours. So it was supposed to be enough money to cover everything that you needed. That was the story you were telling everybody. And then on payday, after you've already been paid twice, according to you, and he gets paid weekly, your paycheck didn't come. But you need a week's worth, but you didn't ask for any food. How did you eat? Or were you hitting people up on the back end for that part of it? But this is question number 2. You said it was a check that was messed up, which means you would eventually get it, right? Did you offer to give anybody the money back? Because it was based on a missed check, not a check that doesn't exist. So you should be able to give people their money back, right? And y'all know I take notes and I tie things together in my brain. If y'all remember, a few days prior to that, he said now that he's working and he's making really good money and he has the potential to even make a great deal more money, now they're going to start saving and looking for a place to live permanently. What a way to get started on your savings by having an entire week's worth of your hotel room covered by other people. Perfect place to start. It was one thing when you didn't have a job, and I still complained. But now you have a job and you still see TikTok as an ATM? Because again, you could have offered to pay people back because it was a mischeck. But he didn't, of course. At one point in the stream, somebody came in and told him that he was being streamed. And normally he says, I don't want to hear about it, but this particular person worded it in a way that he felt comfortable. So he was like, thank you so much for telling me it that way. Then he says that he no longer cares if people stream him. Because what he's hoping is that while people are listening in the watch party, that they will take the opportunity to get to know him on their own and make up their own minds about them. And then he said, so that we could get to know each other and be friends. Is that what he said? That he was looking for new people to become friends with? Do you think that's what Tim said? Of course not. What he said was that he was hoping they would make up their own minds about them so that they could come into his life and help him. See, that's all the views are good for. It's not getting to know him so we can be friends on TikTok and share recipes and talk about the weather and what's going on in basketball and what's happening over in the Middle East. No. He wants you to make up your own mind so you can go in his life and give him your money. I say that all to say this. Just because they work, just because they get an income, doesn't mean that their mindset changes. Their mindset stays the same. What can I get out of people? Because it's real easy to do so on TikTok. What can I get out of it? And you know, if somebody's offering, why not take it? Hold on, Scam.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, I'm not sure if you guys checked the Reddit on Tim and Angela, but allegedly the $165 that Tim and Angela got for groceries and also the week in the hotel was paid for by a bishop. And I don't know if the money came directly from the bishop or from his congregation, but someone did reach out to that bishop. I guess they emailed the person or sent them a message on TikTok. I'm not sure what, to warn this person. And it sounded like he didn't know that they were scammers, and he's given to other people as well, not realizing that there's so many scammers on TikTok.
Right.
The person said like they couldn't even begin to give them a list of all the scammers on TikTok. But there's also some weird stuff about the bishop too, because he proclaims to do exorcisms and some other weird stuff. So I don't know about that, but yeah, that's allegedly who they got it from. And then all of a sudden, there's this brand new account on the Reddit that has the bishop's name as the username, and they are posting saying that and so somebody that is either the bishop or pretending to be the bishop, right? Claiming that they are getting threats.
What? By who?
Well, they haven't showed any proof of that. It's this poster on here said, because of this post, I've received unalive threats I've dedicated my entire life to serving the poor, and I've never been put in this type of situation, and I'm appalled. If your issue is with Tim and Angela, then that is your right, but you need to be aware when you drag innocent people into this situation, consequences can occur, and I am truly disgusted with some of the messages I've received on TikTok and the unalive threats because of this post. And again, just speculation, right? Right, Vicky? Everybody's like saying, like, nice try, Tim and Angela. We know this is you.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Because it's a
But
brand new account.
wait, come on. First of all, if anybody is doing that, please stop. It is unhelpful because they assume that it's quote unquote us, this monolith, this massive group of millions of people who have all decided to get together, and we have one leader based on Jordy Paul, and we all take direction from one person and then go out and do our thing. If you are doing that, because I have noticed that there are some people on the fringes of what we do that have no moral compass. They'll say and do anything. But the likelihood that someone at this point has attached themselves to Tim and Angela to threaten a bishop.
Yeah, it
is
really seems
wild
like it
to
might
me.
be them. Like, this account is called Bishop Long, which is apparently his name, and it was created 1 day ago.
Oh man.
And the only posts that are in there are like 4 comments, all just on the Tim and Angela thread, like no other stuff on Reddit or anything. And like the bishop wouldn't know terms that we use, right? Like if he didn't realize there were all these TikTok beggars on TikTok, because they legit did, send a message. Somebody messaged the bishop. They were like, wow, I guess they were basically like, wow, I didn't realize there was so many TikTok scammers, beggars, thank you for warning me type of thing, but then one of the messages they put said, right, let's attack the innocent person. That's real nice awareness. Like, he wouldn't even know.
Ooh.
This bishop wouldn't even know, like, that to call anybody awareness. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Like,
And to
like,
assume that it's a group of people.
right, right. There's all these messages. Like, it says, I'm Bishop Long. I have dedicated my entire life to serving the poor. Because of this post, I have now received unalive threats. I am asking that my profile and name be immediately removed, as this tyrant situation could have been remedied with a simple private message. Clergy should never, ever be forced in this situation. I'm appalled that this has happened. Well, they did have a private message. They did have a
Right.
private
And
message.
you made the Reddit account. Nobody made you make that. Yeah, it's not the bishop.
No,
It's
everybody's
not the
saying that
bishop.
they're all like, stop it, Tim. We know this is you. Like, you're repeating the same exact things that Tim says.
Good morning, Ange. Did you mean to come up?
No.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, and we all know that there's a particular person who has an addiction to seeing Reddit, even though he knows it's gonna upset him a great deal. So I'm not gonna say it's him, but I know that because I've told Tim myself, stay off of Reddit if you know it is going to affect your mental health. But it's a lack of self control that he just cannot help himself but go on Reddit. By the way, and I haven't said it in a while, I introduced you guys to TikTok Taco. When you are writing people or talking to them and telling them to look up scammers, make sure you tell them TikTok Taco. Put the name in the search bar. After they search it, there's a all the way to the left is TikTok Taco's logo. Click on it. And if they are known on this app for asking for money and being declared a scammer, beggar, liar, manipulator, TikTok Taco will tell them in a very succinct format who they're dealing with. So don't, and that's TikTok. That's TikTok AI generated. So it's not like they're looking at our accounts where they can say, well, it's based on your opinion. You know how people try to, that's TikTok Taco.
Hmm. But yeah, so just in case you're interested, the Reddit's out there. There are these messages from this person claiming to be a bishop, and there are certainly doubts. I mean, people are bringing up in the comments, like, why would this bishop not like be cool with them lying about cancer, scamming money from innocent people, like just all the things, you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
like, and like I said in the message that supposedly he replied, that there was no issues. It sounded like he was grateful to find out the truth and wasn't going to donate anymore. And I think, I mean, and that's what Tim would be mad at, right? That would, I think, would cause him to make a fake account,
right,
right? Like if people warned their big donor that they've been taking advantage of, this bishop, for the tune of over what, $300 to $400 over the past week or so.
right.
And he finds out on Reddit that somebody messaged the bishop. Well, now he's mad. So it makes sense. I don't have any proof, but I just wanted to let you know that was going on, and I certainly think it's suspicious. I personally don't believe it's the bishop. I do think it's Tim.
Yep. I,
Just my opinion only.
right. The evidence looks that way.
Yes.
Okay. I
So
have
just wanted to share that. Thank you, Dee, for
Thank
all you
you.
do.
Thank you for coming up. You too. Justine, you've requested the box. Did you intend to? Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to try to get through the rest of the people as quickly as I possibly can. Okay. For Jordan, let me just say this. She said something interesting the other day. First of all, again, why isn't anybody asking about her paycheck? But she said something the other day that I thought was very interesting. You know how she talks about how, oh, the leader is sending their people in and they're watching and this and that, and how she doesn't bother with anybody else. Well, she just gave her, we know she's lying about that, by the way, but she just gave herself up because her people are so interested in turning in somebody else. Like, it's cult like, right? Like, everybody's watching everybody to see if they're in any quote unquote awareness live, anti scam live. Did they comment? Did they say anything? But you know what that told me? The reason why she isn't watching us is because she has other people watching us and they're reporting to her. So, Jordan, stop lying and saying that you're not concerned with what we're talking about and doing over here. You are 100% concerned. You are so concerned because you're afraid it's going to slow down your money that you have your spies, your minions, your sycophants that you're the leader of, taking their tentacles out into any live watch party, whatever it may be, and gathering information and giving it back to you. If you are so adept at that, why are you still taking photos of every name that comes in? What difference does it make? Especially when you say it's a fake account. For what? You have taken so many photos. You probably have 1,000 screenshots just in the last few months. That's not enough. But if you truly wanted this to end, if you really wanted this to stop, you would stop begging on TikTok and take care of yourself. Again, it's a mindset. It's not a circumstance. And so when they're always like, I'm just in a bad position and you're taking advantage of my bad position, like I told the artist also known as. The assumption that you don't feel like you're a scammer, so therefore any and everybody else we've ever covered is also not a scammer, is a flawed hypothesis. You don't know 99% of the people we are talking about. Never heard of them before. This girl has claimed to have jobs and still begs for money every day. And never tells us the job is gone. What happened to the job with the computer where she was working at the hotel and she needed the hotel money because that's the only way she could work because she needed their internet? Did she ever say she lost that job? And why? I don't remember. Maybe she did, but she certainly didn't tell us when it happened. Why? Because she needed going to work as a deadline to get the money. So if she has to be to work at 12 o'clock, she starts panicking at 11 and creating the distress necessary in her chat that she goes ahead and gets the money. Or she acts more urgent in her DMs to people. People have to stop falling for it, because every time she mysteriously doesn't have the money, she's still in that hotel room the very next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. And the people who co-sign everything she says, when we all know she's lying. When you hang out with a liar, you become a liar. And when you become a liar, liar is stamped on your forehead. Don't come out talking about anything else that's happened, because guess what? You're a liar because you associate with and you co-sign a liar. Keep it up. Now, just a reminder, we're having a digital after dark this Saturday night at 8 p.m. There'll be no live on Friday. If you have ever messaged anyone and had any success, or a live, or you were the success story, please come on Saturday night and let's talk about it. I think as a community, we need some encouragement to remember that we are successful at what we do. No, do we get them to stop 99% of the time? No. And even if they stop, they come right back because it's their mindset. TikTok is their ATM. They don't come back and provide content and make money. They are strictly here to get money. So let's encourage each other on Saturday night. Okay. I want to do her next just because. Now, I knew Sheena was racist. I just knew. She didn't have to tell me. I knew. And I knew her husband was racist too. Just by the way they act. But girl, let me clean my glasses for this one. Sheena, if you thought announcing to the world that you are a racist was going to encourage me to leave you alone, I promise you it has done the opposite. And I think you know that. I think you know that. 110%. See, if you guys aren't familiar, her husband was in the background complaining. And based on me hearing it, and I will apologize, I know the Sheep Show has it, and I know other people have it. her husband was complaining, and it sounded like he was complaining about society and how bad society has gotten. And he said, let's see, black people. Black people are the problem. Now, how I know that he went too far, even for Sheena, was she muted immediately. She muted immediately. If he, White Sox, find somewhere to go. If he had said the public, like she claims he said, why would she mute? A lot of us talk about society and the public in general and how the morality of people has declined. Why would you need to mute if that's what he said? But we all heard it. And if you haven't, go find it. You'll hear it. At the very end, he says that he has a problem with black people. And of course, her minions were in there telling them, yeah, Don, go. Go, Don. I love when Don goes off like this. So, of course, she's crying. Why are people saying this? He didn't say it. I know my husband. But then, and these may not be in order, but as you can see, it has a trigger warning at the top. It's the truth. I am absolutely. I should have been the first one. I'm racist. Yes, she does, Luca. I love that show, by the way. She thought that by claiming she was racist, that would be better. That would take heat off of Don. I can't show it because I don't know if I ever got the permission, but apparently River went in to say, like, that's out of control and that she supports Black Lives Matter. And she was upset about that because she didn't agree, and one of her mods blocked River. River, as much as I don't like your smart mouth, I applaud you for standing up to your mother on this one. Now, what I know is that the people who financially support Sheena are happy to do so from the shadows. But if you are still giving her money after openly admitting she was a racist, after hearing her husband say that the problem with society is black people, you are a racist sympathizer. You are a racist ally. They're now no contact. Wow, Chanel. So now my attention will turn to you. Because Sheena's on the list because of Sheena. Sheena's a bad person from head to toe. For all of the reasons. But her being a self-proclaimed racist, where she battles people of color from all around the world? Now I know why she gets upset when the Sheep Show or anybody else hate gives somebody from a foreign country, because she believes that she's better than them and she should win. What does she say? It's not fun. Oh, is it not fun losing to a person of color? White Sox, don't even start. Go somewhere. Don't even start. Girl, River's girlfriend is black. Oh, boy, does that make a difference. She said she used to be racist. Used to be what? Because if you used to be racist, you'd have checked your husband. But Sheena doesn't. Sheena's quick thinking is always wrong. Let me take the heat for it. What did she say? I owned up to my mistakes. You're still racist. But that's okay. I got something coming for you. Because I told you, I'm not laying off of bringing attention to you until you take a break. Because you have some things that you need to reevaluate in 2026. You're being left behind in the dark ages with that line of reasoning and thinking. Period. But let me show you what she was really concerned about on the night that her husband said it. Let me find it. What she wanted to know is, did she lose her fragments? And she said, did I lose my fragment? I probably did. She didn't care about her husband being racist. She didn't care about how it would affect the chat, if it would offend anybody she battles. She was solely concerned with her fragment. So this point going forward, anybody who's a mod for hers, who's a continued supporter of hers, let me introduce myself. My name is Digital. And we're going to get to know each other. Now, I know Jordan is on. I think Jordan is on. Let's see. I got to do Lala first. Yeah, they like the word colored. Shout out to Becky. Yeah, I know Jordan is on. So, I told you guys, I don't know, a week or two ago, maybe early last week, that I have laid off of Lala. I've been watching her for a very long time, but not intently in any way, because when I very first looked into her, I made some assumptions in my head that were wrong. Assumption number one is that her baby daddy was terminally ill, was bedbound, needed to be bathed and fed. I made this man sickly because of the way she described his illnesses. And I thought to myself, she's a mother who's forced into a situation where her baby daddy, because of their financial position and his illnesses, and she has a minor that doesn't go to school, how is she going to go to work? That was my thought process. And then I watched where she got a job, and I was happy for her. Okay, cool. But see, she didn't get the job she said she immediately was like, it's TikTok's fault because we called the hotel, and that must mean we've called the job, and that's the reason why she didn't get it. Let me explain something to you from a business perspective, whether it's a temp agency, a company, whatever. They are not going to do background checks that require payment on everybody they meet. They're not even going to do it when they narrow it down to, let's say, 10 people. They're going to wait until they've gotten to a certain level to pay for a background check and then pay for a work physical with a rug test associated with it. Because if that's the case, you know how much money a company would throw away doing that to everybody interested in a job? So when they say to you, we really like you, we think we want to make an offer, but we have these final 2 steps. You have to pass a background check and you have to pass the physical with the rug test. You don't have the job until then. Now, you could lose it because of the rug test. You could lose it because of the background check. Or the company could decide to just go in another direction. It doesn't mean that somebody called on you. But that was her. Of course, we did it to her. And that perked my ears up. Because I'm like, girl, stop it. You have a history. And in an economy where there are other people who have no history looking for a job, you're going to struggle, which means you have to hit the pavement even more. You don't get to lay in the bed or sit in the car on your phone sending your resume within Indeed or within LinkedIn and expect to get a job, especially when you haven't had one in a while. That's not how it's going to work. They're going to need to see your face, talk to you. You might not be able to get the job at the amount you want to start with. You need to get your foot back in the door. But then, and I believe, don't get me wrong, her name is Jingle dot something. I apologize that I don't have it. I was scrolling the streets and I came across a video where Lala was trying to tell a story explaining why she couldn't go to this agency about that, because in order to get a job, because then they're going to stop paying the hotel. Thank you, Miss Coffee. Jingle Jade. And my spidey senses literally, they all stood up. At attention. We have a problem. Say what now? So Lala happened to be live in that moment. So as digital, because I'm not going to go in on a burner to start with. I always start with digital. Hello, how are you? And I've learned not to say, can I ask a question? Because that's a clue. I just say, I have a question, ... And I was like, did you say that your hotel room was being covered? I saw a video. She was like, I think I just asked. I didn't say in a video yet. And she was like, no. And I was like, I saw it in a video. She immediately said it was AI. And then told me to send her the video. I said, I absolutely will. Now, a couple of things. Please, if you are working, you're doing videos, don't AI anything like that. Don't make them say something that they wouldn't say. And the reason why is because we rely on the credibility of what we put out. If we start altering what people would say in a way that is not clear that that's what we're doing, we won't be able to stand on anything. But I heard it, and clearly thousands of others heard it too. But before I could say anything else, I got blocked by a mod. Spidey senses went up again, because how am I going to send her the video if you have blocked me? Huh? So then I went back in under my exposing account, and this time you don't get the privilege of a private message. I went in and let everybody know where the video was. And while I'm doing this, I noticed the baby daddy walking around in the background like he's straight. Now, I'm not going to say that he doesn't have an illness. Not going to say that at all. You can walk around looking normal and have a terminal illness. But apparently, he doesn't have cancer, like Lala said at one point. But I, again, in my own head, made him an invalid in the bed in traction, unable to move. That's not the case. You took your tax return money and purchased a car, which on its surface may have been a good job, but now it's a money pit. And guess where you want to come to get it fixed? Your chat. Your ATM of TikTok. So it wasn't smart. It might have been smarter to make sure your housing was straight. But see, if based on what you said is true, you don't have to worry about your housing. So of course you could use the money for the car. But you got a man laying right next to you and y'all bought a lemon? And what is that man doing? And let me be clear about something. Apparently, shout out to Calling BS and Q and Exposing last night. I learned so much more. That there's an active warrant for her driving without a license. Thank you, Puppy Power. And I'm sorry, the warrant is for failure to appear in court for all of the tickets related to driving around without a license, insurance, or registration. She has two sisters that apparently do well for themselves. Yeah, used to be is the question of the year. Sure wine, it says that you want to come in the box, put a box in the chat if that's the case. You've been doing this for a while, Lala. And I've laid off because I honestly thought that you were caught between a rock and a hard place. But now we know your man gets Social Security. Out of your own mouth, you said the hotel room was paid for. And even if it isn't, why is it TikTok's continued responsibility? Why is it that because you beg for money on TikTok, your mods decided to dox somebody covering you? That's your only defense? Is to try to intimidate somebody into stopping? Well, exposing has decided to do a 30-day, 30 night. She's not letting off her neck for the next 30 days, or I guess starting a couple of days ago. The only thing you do when you try to intimidate somebody on this side of the coin is make us stronger. We get more refined that way. When your own sisters won't get you out of that situation, if they are financially able to do so, that should tell everybody else something isn't right. And why are women who have their own lives, their own responsibilities, their own bills, taking care of women that have a man lying right there? I don't understand it. You wish. You wish. That's hilarious. Y'all just heard, mister. If it's a hairy hole, it's gonna be his, not yours. That's okay. You would get a lot further if you told the truth. You get a lot further if you told the truth. But part of the problem with lying is that it's one lie after another lie after another lie, and it's very hard for you to keep track. But when I sit in a place of truth, the lies just float around me. I'm able to pluck them out. Like, but you said such and such on such and such in my trusty notebook here. And what's also critical is because they're so quick to have their kids in the background, the kids tell the truth on them all the time. Why do you think having cats in the room is a plus unless there are mice? That's the only reason. Because why would you add another living being to your responsibilities and then be so irresponsible that you let them have kittens? And people apparently have asked to adopt the kittens, and she said no. There are free programs to spay and neuter. Free. No payment whatsoever required. You know, and I'm not saying she's a holy roller, not by any stretch of the imagination, but people who mistreat children, the elderly, and animals, there's a special place for you. The hardest thing to do is to adopt out or put down a sickly animal. But there comes a place where you have to lose your selfishness in and replace it with what's best for the animal. And if you're worried about feeding your kids, the last thing you need is an animal. Because what I know is that if you can't feed yourself, the animals are suffering. Because they're going to get fed last. So Lala, I don't intend to exaggerate the 30 days and 30 nights, but my moratorium on covering you has gone. It's over with. It's over with. Because I really thought you were somebody caught between a rock and a hard place. So I refused to cover you, even though I knew you were begging. Why? Because I believe that there are people truly stuck right in that where they make $5 too much to get food stamps and they're struggling. Or their car really did break down and they are literally one paycheck away from homelessness. I'm not going to cover that person. I'm not. But when I realize that this is just a money grab so that you can continue doing the lifestyle you've chosen for yourself, the moratorium has been lifted. What, Miranda? Oh, Rachel. Rachel. And see, I'm sorry, Miranda. I'm super sorry. I'm more sorry because the warning came too late for y'all. The warning came too late. And again, when they say, what is the harm in an adult choosing to give another adult money and engage with them? This is the reason. This is the reason. Because the moment you no longer engage with them, the moment that you do realize that they are scammers and they're taking advantage of the people around them, and you call them out for it, you're no longer friends. They no longer respect what you've done for them. And now it's all out war. And any and everything I know about you, I will use against you, which is why you can't play with them. It is why I go so hard at trying to warn people, especially about the new people I come across. Because the moment you're no longer serving their purpose, maintaining your privacy is no longer necessary. But see, Pink Panther, when I think we're friends and I send you money from my CA or my PP that has my full legal name on it, I don't think anything is going to come of that. When I hear you tell the entire TikTok that you want to unalive yourself, so I give you my telephone number because I want you to be able to have somebody to talk to because I think we're friends. When I meet you and I'm scrolling as my regular account and engage with you and my full legal name is there and pictures of my family are there, I don't think anything of it. Awesome, Miranda. Awesome. I told y'all, there's a group of women out there. I thought I was doing something, my little bit of talking about her, and like I told y'all, I only scratched the surface of the amount of scamming that girl has done. Oops, I'm sorry. I done scared the babies too. And she was coming for me hard, making her name Digital Deceivers Karma. Girl, all the karma in the world for me won't make you a better person. It's not going to change your charges. It's not going to change the fact that your children were taken from you. I don't need to post pictures of your children. It's not going to change the theft. It's not going to make Raul go back to you. You're going on quote unquote dates for what? To get food? What are you having to give up to get it? Or are you using it as a way to figure out men so that you can have somewhere to stay and shower in the morning? Like, at my worst, that's never going to be me. Thank the Lord. But there's no too low for you, Rachel. Even though you still got people calling you Raquel, you were so worried about that 19-year-old and how nobody better see her picture, but you had her in your live. Why didn't you have her in your live with her camera off if you really were about protecting her? You didn't give a damn. You didn't even give a damn when her 3 or 4-year-old nephew was in the background with a pamper on. I had to take that entire side out. But you want to look like you give a damn about other people. What happened to you walking around Chicago and talking to people? What happened to that idea? That went right out the window because you only say what you need to say to look as productive as you think people think you need to be, so they'll continue to give you money. But this is what they do when you wake up. This is what they do when you've decided that you've hit your limit. That's right. And by the way, I know I didn't post Friday's live, but I did post the new language that we have to take their accounts down. One is sending people off the platform. Now, when you read it, it's going to sound like they're talking about businesses only. That if you're selling something and you're sending, utilize it for what we need it for. If they're sending people off the app to their payment apps or to a GFM or some other crap, use it for that as well. When they're crying or acting highly distressed or threatening to unalive because they don't have what they need, report it. And if you have to do both, do it. If you have to hit the other button and describe all the things, do so and let the AI know they are violating community guidelines or the terms of service. Make sure you're using words that AI is looking for. It may not be looking for the word crying, because people get on here and cry about a lot of things. But if they're crying in order to get gifts or more followers, or sending people off the app to their payment apps by being overly distressed, I already know Colin got somebody taken down. Because it's manipulation. The same way that TikTok stopped allowing rage bait. And we now know that Zim tries to use that all the time. So call her on it. When she's up there crying about how they don't have this and that and blah, 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 report her. You know why? Because 3 days later, she's going to say, oh, y'all took the bait. Y'all took the bait. When she went out there and said she had all those streams of income and now she's saying she was lying about it? Manipulation. Report it. Let the AI know. Now, in that vein, with the 2 minutes left that I have, I'm going to repost it. But Colin sent me the videos, and I can't remember the account. But I'm going to repost it, so look at my repost. Where Maggie is getting at least the beginning or the middle of her comeuppance. And she could care less. And I will give Not Easily Broken credit that she tried to get Maggie to recognize that these aren't haters talking to her. These are people who have supported her for a long time through all of her nonsense, through all of the anti-scam label that's been placed, that we have done. And the scammer label, the beggar, the liar, the manipulator label we've placed on her. They have stuck by her through it all, through all of the nonsense, through taking a doll and bringing it to a restaurant and saying that she wants the Mother's Day discount because she's a mother to these dolls, or wrapping them up in a gifted stroller that could have went to an actual baby so that she could go get free gifts for her children at Christmas. Or her grown ass showing up at a children's Easter egg hunt. And they had to make her give the stuff back. They stuck by her through all of that nonsense. And what is clear is they mean nothing more to her than the people in the chat at the end of the day. It is what can you do for me now, not what you've done for me lately or in the past. What good are you to me now? And if you aren't any, guess what? Not only are you not a mod any longer, who are you? Maggie don't know you no more. This gentleman is married with 6 kids. And at one point didn't have a job to take care of them adequately. Did Maggie give a shit? No. She still wanted him to send it. And when he tried to express to Maggie, I'm under some pressure, Maggie, I got kids. And we're not even talking just little kids. He has 1 kid getting out of high school, 1 kid going into high school. And what was Maggie's solution? Not, don't give me any money and let me take a couple of dollars and send it to you. Maggie's solution was, well, you can come on my live and beg. But don't let somebody give something to somebody else. She has a fit. So did you really want him to beg on your life? But he has self-respect as a man and told you no multiple times. And the moment You were of no good to her. She dropped you as a mod. And when he was like, I don't care about not being a mod. I'm worried about loyalty. I told you that's all I cared about was loyalty. And he said to her, you've never sent me a penny. How have you shown me loyalty when I was having a hard time? You know what Maggie's answer was? My love. Girl, you can keep that. You can keep that. Because there is no love. Because Maggie isn't asking for groceries because she doesn't have anything to eat. She wants DoorDash to eat what she wants. She's not asking for her rent to be paid, or she needs to make it to the doctor and she has no way to get there. She's asking to go to concerts and shows and events from a gentleman who was worried about feeding his kids. And he thought how presumptuous of him that he was the only mod that she was coming after for money. So he says that. He's like, I can't believe how you treat other people because of the way you treat me. He was like, you can't possibly be. And the mods was like, nope, she texts us too for money. And I guess when you aren't given enough, you can lose your mod spot, no matter how long you've been modding for her, no matter how long you've rocked for her, no matter how long you've blocked and muted and talked junk to other people trying to bring attention to her ways. She barely wanted to answer his questions. And what does she do? She puts that baby voice on. Yeah. But she was unbothered and unconcerned. She had a goal to reach. Even that day. And Not Easily Broken was like, let him talk. Listen to him. He's trying to tell you something. She could care less. Is that not a lesson for the rest of y'all? Not Easily Broken, what happens when you say enough is enough? What's she gonna do? And what's sad is how many of them have left for the exact same reason. And then you get a bunch of pick-me's who they see a space open and they jump in it and it starts all over again. Their mindset is what can they get out of you, from you, or protection from you. The moment your presence no longer serves their needs, you are no longer worthy. They no longer care about protecting you. They no longer care about whether somebody on this side is dragging you or not. They will help destroy you if they can. And again, they see their enemy of their enemy as their friend. And before you know it, somebody who has no business knowing a single thing about you knows everything about you and has no problem disseminating it. Be careful who you trust. Because if you were talking to them in real life, you'd give them less information than you give them on TikTok. These parasocial relationships I've been talking about for damn near 2 years. But I must not have known what I was talking about. but I'm watching it implode in front of me when everybody was supposed to be trying to do good work. And just when you think you're on the top of the leaderboard, there is somebody prepared to knock you off of it. And so with that, as we know that the scammers are on and ready, I'm going to leave you all to go do that. But I'm going to suggest to the people who think that taking me on is what they want to do, because I'm merely offering commentary on what you chose to do on this app, these are going to be my words to you. But before I let you go, please hug your loved ones, because tomorrow isn't promised. And I have one other thing. And if somebody can send this to MAGA Girl, I would appreciate it. I forgot to say this, and I meant to say this earlier. The discussion we were having on Friday about understanding something you cannot understand because you aren't a person of color. This is a documentary. It is on Tubi. It is free. You can pay for it somewhere, but it is on Tubi for free with ads. First of all, trigger warning. Second of all, it's going to upset you. Okay? It is incredibly confronting. You will relate to somebody sitting around that table, and you may not like some of the things that you hear. I'm forewarning you of that. But I am going to ask you to sit through it anyway. There's a point to all of it. It is a way of helping you get out of the bubble you sit in to see it from another perspective. But it's going to confront all of the things you've been using your entire life to see through the nonsense that I and people like me have to deal with on a daily basis. You know how when everybody said they paused because they were shocked? Why are you shocked? I don't get to be shocked, because I gotta face it every day. Well, that's one of the things they confront, is you being shocked or you crying. Stop it. And then we're going to talk about it. Again, trigger warning. It is confronting as hell. I was clutching some of my pearls. Like, ooh, we really gonna go there? But they go there for a reason. And we'll talk about it on the other side. Thank you, Puppy Power, for reminding me we are having a live on Saturday night as a means of encouraging ourselves to remember that we are doing the good work. Even though people have tried to make it seem and sound nasty and degrading, and that we're hurting people, hurting children, but bear in mind, there is a too far to this. Don't do that. Stay within your moral compass. But we are on the right side of the wrong street. So please hug your loved ones, because tomorrow isn't promised. Please enjoy your Friday morning and don't get up, but try to make yourself available for Saturday night, because as a group, as a whole, we need to support one another. We don't have to like how each other does it, but I believe most of us are doing it for the right reasons. So, I was going to do the Cardi B version, but I think I'm going to do an even older version. Where is it? So, please play Be Careful by Sparkle.
Be Careful by Sparkle on Amazon Music.
If I don't see you in the streets, I'll see you Saturday night, 8 p.m. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your week. Thank you. Thank you.